Hi, Stefan. What's that? Shot 2, take 3. Morning, girls.
Oh, thank you. Good luck.
Oh, gosh.
Arbeitslosenarmee beginnt nun zu wachsen. 1, 2, 3 Millionen, 4 Millionen, 5 Millionen, 6 Millionen, 7 Millionen. Heute mögen es 7 bis 8 Millionen tatsächlich sein. Wie lange noch? Ihre eigenen Parteien, und zwar nicht eine, das wäre zu wenig, es müssen vielleicht 3, 4 sein. Das Bürgertum, das noch intelligenter ist, braucht daher noch mehr Parteien. Der Mittelstand muss seine Parteien haben. Die Wirtschaft ihre Parteien. Der Landmann auch eigene Parteien, und zwar auch gleich 3, 4. Und die Herren Hausbesitzer müssen ihre besonderen Interessen politischer Art, weltanschaulicher Art auch durch eine Partei vertreten lassen. Und die Herren Mieter natürlich können dann nicht zurückbleiben. Und die Katholiken auch eine eigene Partei und die Protestanten eine Partei. Und die Bayern eine Partei und die Thüringer eine eigene Partei. Und die Württemberger noch eine besondere Sozialpartei. Und so weiter. 34 alte Plätzchen. Ich habe mir ein Ziel gesteckt, nämlich die 30 Parteien aus Deutschland hinauszuziehen.
Ganz allein ernst und gemessen schreitet, freundlich grüßend durch die Massen der Führer, der Reichskanzler Adolf Hitler. Unser Führer, der Reichskanzler Adolf Hitler.
Wie gesagt, 14 Jahre nun gearbeitet habe und entweg und ohne jemals zu vergessen bin, Aufbau diese Bewegung. Und so, wie es mir gelangt, von 7 zu diesen 12 Millionen zu kommen, so will ich und so wollen wir bauen und arbeiten an der Wiederaufrichtung unseres deutschen Volkes. Deutsches Volk, gib uns 4 Jahre und ich schwöre dir, so wie wir und so wie ich und dieses Amt eintragt, so will ich dann gehen. Ich tat es nicht ungelohnt und nicht an Lohn. Ich tat es für deine Zwecke.
Frau, das ist so lang schon her.
It was written entirely by yourself, Mrs. Hitler?
Well, not entirely, no. There was a journalist, a friend of my son's.
And you wrote it with the idea of making money?
Is there something wrong with that?
Wenn das die anderen wüssten, oh aha, dass wir uns heimlich küssten, oh aha, was die zu sagen wüssten, ja aha.
Mrs. Hitler, there's been a certain amount of controversy about the accuracy of your journal, certain historical details which
I wasn't writing a history book. I was setting down events I witnessed at first hand, or things that were told me by my son, Pat.
What year was it begun, and when did you complete it?
I never did finish it, but I began it in 1940 or thereabouts, in America.
In America?
Yes. Patrick showed it to a literary agent on Broadway. We had it typed professionally.
So it isn't, in the exact sense of the word, a journal. I mean, you didn't begin it in 1909 and write it day after day.
I wrote bits of it every day, things I remembered.
But not at the time.
At the time, I didn't know that my brother-in-law would be worth remembering, day after day. I wasn't to know then the sort of family I was marrying into. You see, my husband and Adolf Hitler were half-brothers. Same father, different mothers. The father was married 3 times. By all accounts, he was a terrible man for the ladies. Clara was his 3rd wife. He had to get a dispensation from the Pope to marry her. Clara had Adolf and Paula. The other children died when they were small. When Paula was older, she wouldn't have anything to do with Adolf. You should have heard the things she said about him to me. There were no children by the first marriage, but he had a daughter, Angela, by his 2nd wife, and a son that was born out of wedlock. That was Alois, the one I married. We met at the Dublin Horse Show. He was elegance itself. He carried a white ivory walking stick with a gold handle, and in his tie was a pearl pin.
My name is Alois Hitler, from Austria.
On his little finger he wore 2 rings, one a diamond and one a ruby. I ran away with him to England. I was only 17 at the time. I was dazzled by him, and that's the truth. Alois wasn't always a hotel waiter. He had a business head on him, but he was a dreadful man for the gambling. We had a boarding house in Liverpool for a short time, and a restaurant. And when Pat was born, we had a grand little apartment in Upper Stanhope Street. That was the time that Alois was trying to get started in the razor blades. He decided that his sister Angela could be of use to him. She was living in Linz at the time. So he wrote to her and sent her the fare to come to England. We went to Lime Street Station to meet her off the train.
Geld aus dem Gele herauszubekommen.
Geld? Welches Geld?
Mein Geld! Das Geld, das ich an Gele für die Fahrkarte geschickt habe.
Ich musste Sie nicht überreden. Sie gab es mir freiwillig. Sie sagte, sie konnte die Kinder nicht alleine lassen.
Just a minute, what did that mean?
All right, hold it. Stop recording.
Are they going to use subtitles?
No, they decided against it.
Unfortunately, I don't speak German.
Well, Adolf didn't speak any English, apart from the odd word. He'd managed to say good morning before he left Liverpool.
Your German was fluent, was it?
Well, I'd been married to Alois for 3 years. I understood it well enough.
We're only doing that first scene in German.
Thanks for telling me.
That's where he gets off the train in Liverpool, okay?
Alois is asking Adolf how he managed to wheedle the money out of Angela for his trip. Adolf is telling him that Angela said she couldn't leave the children. That was in 1912 in the month of November. Alois hadn't seen Adolf for 15 years.
I was the youngest as well as the most popular undermanager ever employed by the Ritz Hotel in Paris. When the band struck up and the diners rose to dance, the women couldn't resist bumping into me. They brushed against me like so many flowers. What is that disagreeable smell, Adolphus?
Unlike you, Alois, I have spent a great deal of my time in institutes for the homeless.
There was no need for Adolf to have got himself into such a state. Alois said it was sheer rubbish about him being penniless in Vienna. He'd been left money by an aunt, and he had an orphan's pension. Alois said he just went to pieces because they wouldn't let him be an artist.
On each occasion that I was admitted, my clothes were treated with disinfectant.
My progress in London and Dublin was equally splendid. As for Liverpool, though I say it myself, within 6 months of my arriving here, I ran my own hotel, then later a restaurant, not for the riffraff, no, it was in Dale Street. My clients were mainly shipping magnates, cotton kings, the real swells. But that's all in the past. I'm going to put all my energies into a new business venture. You must understand that my undoubted ability at catering is as nothing compared with my flair for commerce. I'm going into safety razors.
Safety razors?
My superior knowledge of the market concern can't fail to build up an enterprise that may eventually be worth millions. Be easy for me. I have, after all, numerous contacts in Munich, Paris, with Angela so conveniently situated in Linz. That was my purpose in sending Angela money. I intended to discuss the European market with her. Before long, no one will think of using anything else. The days of the cutthroat are over. I'm in a position to judge. I have numerous contacts in Manchester, Bradford, you name the big names. I know them. Such a smooth shave.
Once I had the idea of
Action
enclosing
against the skin.
old banknotes and
Take my word for
celluloid
it, they're all the rage.
to make them more durable. Of course, one would have to make them smaller. In Vienna during the winter, the windows of the shops freeze over. You cannot see the goods displayed. I had the notion there was money to be made in filling old tins with paste and selling them to shopkeepers. To smear on the windows.
Surely the paste would be as bad as the frost.
Is there a shred of evidence to support any of this?
It was never put to the test.
Why should there be? Hitler arrived in Liverpool with false papers. He used the name of Edmund, his dead brother.
But surely Alois would have mentioned it. I imagine he was the sort of man who would boast about his family connections.
Why do you suppose Hitler allowed Alois to run his restaurant in Berlin? It wasn't out of brotherly affection. It was to keep him quiet.
About a trip to the north of England? He certainly never mentioned it in Mein Kampf.
Of course he didn't. Any more than he mentioned that he had brothers and sisters, and they were real enough, weren't they? He didn't want to admit he had relatives like anybody else. That was why he was so horrified when me and Pat arrived on the scene. He was desperate to hush us up.
Why?
Because we knew too much. About his background, his beginnings, his origins. They say Hitler had a Jewish grandfather. Alois said there was something funny about the way his father bothered to get his birth legitimized so late in the day and changing his name.
It was never proved either way, was it?
Hmm?
The Jewish thing, I mean. It was never proved either way.
Well, no, but you're not telling me records weren't tampered with. Facts rearranged.
Lying there all day.
No, not entirely. Sure, he sat up and did a drawing of the child.
Why would he suppress the fact that he was in Liverpool?
Maybe he forgot. Anyway, who'd want to remember bleeding Liverpool?
The nose is too big. I'm not angry. I have no objection to a man lounging about until kingdom come. As long as it's in his own house. At his own expense. Haven't made the slightest attempt to find work.
I can't. I haven't the necessary papers.
Then you'd best go home. The sooner the better.
I can't do that either. I am the innocent victim of a failure in postal communications. When I left Linz for Vienna, I notified the authorities of my change of address. I realized, of course, that I would soon be eligible for military service and therefore...
Now I understand. You came here to avoid conscription.
I avoided nothing! In giving my change of address, I acted with the utmost correctness! Unfortunately, I did not have the same address for very long. Or any address for that matter! The postman does not deliver letters to dust houses and park benches!
Providence has endowed living creatures with a limitless fecundity. But she has not put within their reach all the food they need. All that is very right and proper. Is the struggle for existence that produces the selection of the fittest. As soon as the idea was introduced that all men are equal before God, the world was bound to collapse.
The Jews have had a disastrous influence upon art. With the help of absurd art critics and one Jew bidding against another, they finally suggested to the masses a concept of art according to which the worst rubbish in painting is considered the height of artistic accomplishment! Minister of Religious Affairs, who knows as much about art as a hippopotamus, fell into the trap and gave official awards to actual shit!
It is important to evaluate each person's faults and aptitudes, so that everyone can occupy the place that suits him.
Nicht verstehen, kann's nicht behalten, doch auch nicht vergessen, und fass ich es ganz, kann ich's nicht messen, doch wie wollt ich
Oh!
Circumstances have always been against me. Always. If the Academy of Fine Arts had not been run by bureaucrats, by fossilized civil servants devoid of understanding, if I had not been endlessly rejected, I would not have been reduced to wandering like a tramp about this or any other city.
Mrs. Hitler, most historians agree categorically that Hitler was in Vienna throughout the winter of 1912 and the first few months of 1913.
Categorically? How can they be sure?
Evidence? Witnesses?
The only witnesses, as you call them, were fellow inmates at the Mannerheim, and they were tramps.
Yes, now the Mannerheim was a home for men
It was a DOS house, paid for by a Jewish organization. Hitler lived there for 3 years before he came to stay with us.
Heinz Linger, Hitler's valet of 10 years' service, says flatly that apart from occasional visits to Paris and Italy, the Fuhrer had, and I quote, visited no other country. Also, the British immigration authorities have no record of his entry.
The Home Office officials say that even if the authorities had kept some sort of records, it would be impossible to trace them now, because Hitler had bombed them to smithereens. Anyway, not all historians are agreed on where he was. Robert Payne says that he disappeared for 5 months in 1912, and Mr. Bullock merely says that he arrived in Munich in the spring of 1913.
But Bullock doesn't say he went to Liverpool for Christmas.
In Mein Kampf, Hitler wrote that he left Vienna for Munich in May 1912.
But he didn't say that he arrived. Do you see what I mean? He was covering up his tracks.
Orange juice.
Huh? Not one of these, actually.
Oh, thanks a lot. Gosh, I don't know whether it's the swastika itself or what it stands for. It gives me the shivers.
Well, it can't be the swastika. That's been around for centuries. The Nazis didn't invent it, you know.
The swastika was the Sanskrit symbol originally, you know. It was like used as the wheel of the sun or the circle of life. You want one of these?
No, I'm going to have one.
The actual, you know the North American Indians used this? Yeah, the hope.
Oh,
yeah.
so it was religious?
Yeah.
Well, Hitler was taught by monks when he was a small boy, and there was a swastika actually cut into the stone above the wall. I mean, he must have seen it every day when he went to school. See, Hitler wanted something that would make the communist banner look daft.
Steve, is that watercolour or is it an oil?
Well, it'll be a sort of wash.
That's a good one.
No, that's
Yes, beautiful. And that is, again, is a beautiful piece of proportion, yes. Piece of, you know, acrylic students.
Guess the colour of that, the colour you in the morning. This morning.
A lot of chimneys in his pictures, aren't there?
Yeah.
Awful lot of chimneys. Yeah, they're all...
I can't make head nor tail of this one. When did he do them? But he never put down Hitler. It's just M-A-A-H. Oh, A-Hay or something.
No, one or two of them are signed.
Are they?
Not that bad, are they?
There's one from the trenches. There. That's from the trenches, 1418.
He'd have got into art school today.
Well, the drawing you did of Pat was no great shakes. That's why I never kept it.
You worth a few bob today.
Sure thing.
Yeah, you bet.
Oh, my God.
Shut up.
Hey, get him up. Little Red Riding Hood.
He was obviously crazy about you, wasn't he?
Who? Oh, Adolf.
What about you? Were you sleeping with him, do you think?
I'm not sure.
It's hard, isn't it? How Hitler followed the same pattern.
What pattern?
Well, you know. Father and son falling for their nieces.
I've always preferred older men.
Alois told me once that he didn't have the right grades at school. He was a bit of a dunce.
So that's how I got the prize. Did you ever talk about your school days?
Not really when he wasn't asleep on the sofa. He was arguing with Alois.
But he liked Liverpool, you know. He used to go down to the docks and look at the ships.
Churchill was considered a bit of a dunce, too.
Didn't Churchill call Hitler Mr. Schickelgruber?
Called him what?
Schickelgruber. Well, you know, Churchill was right in a way. That was Hitler's father's name before he changed it.
And what did he do that for, Mrs. Hitler?
Because he was illegitimate. You see, Schickelgruber was his mother's name. But he was brought up by this man called Hitler. Now, that was spelled H-I-E-D-L-E-R, but it was pronounced Hitler. Now, there was talk about this Hitler wanting to leave Schickelgruber money because he admired him because he'd become a customs official. But he wanted him to change his name to Hitler, so he did, and got himself legitimized at the same time.
I'm lost.
Well, the trouble was the priest that wrote it all down couldn't spell. It came out as Hitler.
Just as well, I suppose, for poor old Adolf's sake. Hey, can you imagine?
Heil Schickelgruber!
We should feel honored that he's sitting at our table, stuffing the food into his mouth. Go on, have a drink. Breathe some life into yourself. He hasn't always been so prim and proper, you know. As a schoolboy, he used to organize the village lads to play cowboys and Indians. On the day of his confirmation, he came straight back from the cathedral without bothering to change his clothes. He was off with his friends. He didn't see him till nightfall. Aunt Johanna had come, and my cousins. We never set eyes on him. You could hear him for miles around, whooping.
Whooping?
On the warpath in the orchard. Oh, and later, when he was a schoolboy in Linz, he went into town with the rest of the class at the end of the term. He drank so much, he ended up in a field unable to walk. He crapped in the grass, wiped his bum on his report card. Shut your mouth! What are you so angry about?
I am not proud of the incident, nor do I wish it to be repeated to strangers!
Will you stop this shouting? You'll wake the child with your shenanigan.
At least you weren't so prim and proper then. You should learn to be more tolerant with people. You shouldn't quarrel with me. I'm putting the food in your belly. You could find work if you tried. Suppose you think a menial job is beneath you.
I've humped baggage before now. I shovel snow till the skin welled up in blisters.
You're a fool to yourself. Look Look at all the advantages you have. Youth, excellent brain, a good background.
Background.
Decent parents, stable home. As a man grows older, he realizes these things.
Decent. He was illegitimate. And so were you. He married his own niece. You were beaten so regularly that if you dropped those elegant trousers, we would still see the marks of his belt.
One learns. One appreciates.
I don't. He was a bastard. Both of you, bastards!
Brave to rat, Uncle Adolf.
In Zukunft werde ich dir zurückgestatten.
In Zukunft. Drecksau.
What's up with you? He only said you'd get what he owed you.
It had a double meaning. It was a threat. He meant I'd get what was coming to me.
I don't suppose it was easy for you, having the name Hitler.
Oh, it sure wasn't. That's why Pat and I went to America. We were like outcasts over here. Nobody gave us a job.
I noticed in the last scene, the one at the station, Adolf's moustaches were much shorter, well, less bushy than earlier on.
Yeah.
Was it intentional?
Yes, Mrs. Hitler said it should be trimmed.
Well, when he arrived to stay with us, he had a moustache a la Kaiser, was the fashion for a time. I persuaded him to cut it. Later, of course, he went too far entirely. In my time, the great standby was Mr. Leichner's number 5 and number 9. I was on the board, you know. The theater. It's a long time ago, of course.
I didn't know you'd been an actress.
Well, I was a singer more than anything else. I was once on with the Butterfly Triplets. They weren't even related, of course. But they were all the rage. They wore butterflies here and there. Oh, they used to keep the poor things in a box with a cabbage.
What date did Adolf Hitler supposedly leave Liverpool?
He left in April 1913. And a year later, Alois followed him.
Followed him?
Well, he went off to Germany. He said it was something to do with the razor blades. He was only meant to be gone a fortnight, but that week the war started. I never heard a peep out of him. Oh, I don't know. Maybe he tried to come back. Then after the armistice, I was given to believe that I was a widow.
You mean you were notified of his death?
Not officially, no. But there was a fellow who used to work in Alois's restaurant in Liverpool who got a letter from a man in Germany who said he was in the same hospital as Alois in the war. He said Alois was buried in the Ukraine and that I could never visit the grave because the Bolsheviks were in control. And if I hadn't gone to Monte Carlo...
What were you doing in Monte Carlo?
I was an artiste in Harry Lauder's company. That's how I paid for Pat to go to boarding school. We traveled all over the continent.
was him. Why else would he have run away?
If you're tired and weary, still journey on till you come to your happy abode, where all you love and you're dreaming of will be there at the
Yes, he's here now. He's here now. Could you not smoke in the studio, please, if you don't mind? All sorts of regulations. Okay, fine.
You shouldn't have done it, Pat. You had no right to. Writing to strangers, asking questions about your own family. Could have come to me in the first place, your own mother. Go and do a thing like that behind my back.
Come on, you want some makeup.
Okay. How did I know you'd write to the mayor of Munich?
I would have tried to get in touch with Lung if you hadn't lied. You can't blame me for this mess.
I wasn't lying, Pat. Not at the beginning. I did think your father was dead. And when I found out different, I didn't know what to do.
You could have told the truth.
I had my pride. A woman doesn't like to admit she's been abandoned, Pat.
Stop calling me that. My father still prefers the name William. So do I.
Oh, my God, Pat, who do you think's been supporting you all these years?
Hold it.
Zeig der Welt nicht dein Herz, was versteht sie von deinem Schmerz? Wenn dir auch zum Weinen ist, gib smiling, my dear, gib smiling. Zeig der Welt dein Gesicht, deine Seele, die zeigt ja nicht. Wenn du noch so traurig bist, keep smiling, my dear, keep smiling.
Oh, Vincent, I want to work with you. Oh, thanks. You've got to remember one thing. You've just had a very serious shock. Think about it. Ever since you were a small boy, the only thing you know about your father is this photograph, and that he was a soldier, killed in the war. So naturally, you build him up in your mind, and he's become anything you want him to be. A giant among men, a hero slain on the battlefield. And then, suddenly, you find out that he's alive. Not only is he alive, but he's a bigamist into the bargain. So you're not angry. You're stunned, shocked.
But I believe him, don't I? I mean, when he says he thought we'd been killed in a Zeppelin raid, I do believe him.
Yes, you do believe him, and you don't. But let's say you want to believe him. So try it again. And remember, no anger.
What's a bigamist? You could have told the truth.
I had my pride. A woman doesn't like to admit she's been abandoned, Pat.
Stop calling me that. My father still prefers the name William, so do I.
My God, Pat, who do you think's been supporting you all these years? He walked out on us. Marrying all over again, just like his father before him. I've a good mind to let him go to jail.
No, you can't do that. There's my Uncle Adolf's political career to think of. He's a man of the future.
Expecting me, a Catholic woman, to agree to a divorce.
I never wrote that last bit. You've twisted it.
Aren't you a Catholic?
Yes. That's not what I mean.
I thought you were married in a registry office.
If we'd been married by the Pope himself, it couldn't have been more binding. That's not the bit that concerns me. It's where you have Pat talking about politics and Hitler being a man of the future that bothers me. You're implying that Pat was in favor of Hitler.
It's in your journal.
Yes, but Pat never said it. They were his father's words. He wrote it in a letter. Pat himself had no time for Hitler.
With all due respect, Mrs. Hitler, your son did go and live in Germany. It was through his uncle that he was employed at the bank in Berlin.
He was 20, and he was influenced by his father. But Pat himself had no time for Hitler.
There was a time when he seemed quite willing to claim kinship with him.
I'm telling you, he was nothing but a foolish boy. And it's not so surprising, is it? Wouldn't you have done the same? without benefit of hindsight. Supposing you'd found out you were related to...
God forbid.
To Churchill or to Chamberlain. Don't tell me you wouldn't have tried to cash in on it. There's no need to be so high and mighty. We can't choose who we're related to.
I'm sure we didn't mean to appear high and mighty.
Didn't you? You're like inquisitors. When you're not hinting I'm a liar, you're twisting the sense of it. In case you've forgotten, it was you who approached me. I didn't ask you to do this program. I may not have had a brilliant education, but I'm far from a fool. And just because I bear the name of Hitler, it doesn't mean that I'm a monster either. I have feelings.
Mrs. Hitler, I can assure you that there was absolutely no intention. This isn't being recorded, is it? I hardly think so.
I'm not ashamed of anything I've said or anything I've done. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't easy for me bringing up Pat on my own, educating him, caring for him, only to find when he's of an age he's ready to go to other people. I'm not blaming Pat. It was natural for him to want to know his cousin Gelly Raubel and his Aunt Angela. It was Aloise's fault. He wouldn't let the boy alone, always writing to him, begging him to come to Germany, filling his head with ideas.
You must study German diligently, Willie. If you come to Berlin, I will find a position for you. If you remain in England, you will always be a young man no different than millions of others.
Britischer.
In Berlin, you will be recognized as a descendant of the man who bears the most prominent name in Germany. Never forget, you are the nephew of the uncrowned king of Bavaria. Oh, Willie! Willie! Come in, come in.
I am devoted to my dog. She is truly man's best friend. Blondie can do no wrong.
That's not what you say, Uncle Alf, when she catches a rabbit.
Ah, well, in her case, her nose rules her heart. One sniff, enough!
When I was at school, we used to snare rabbits.
I'm no admirer of the poacher, particularly since I am a vegetarian. But I see in him the sole element of romance, in the so-called sport of hunting. The English have always delighted in blood sports.
Well, I detest hunting.
I have nothing against hunting, apart from the sickening predictability of its climax. Some of its trappings are positively spectacular. The men in their pink coats, the hounds straining at the leash, the blowing of the horn.
Your uncle has a genius for spectacle, Willie. You'll be astounded at the pageantry tomorrow. So many banners, so many flags of black and scarlet that the sky is blotted out.
It is important, Willie, to put on a show if you want to draw in the crowds. My whole life can be summed up as a ceaseless effort to persuade other people. Yes. Like the hounds on the leash. They need a scent to follow.
And at night, they put on the searchlights. Over 100 of them, cutting the darkness to ribbons.
Sometimes I find it boring.
My darling Gailey, you are perfect. I detest women who are interested in politics or in art. A female politician is the ultimate disaster.
Gailey, see your uncle to the door.
Heil Hitler.
Let's go through, shall we?
Ah. Isn't he wonderful? People in England don't understand the man. They distort his motives and underestimate his potential. The newspapers in England print the most unacceptable rubbish about him. Should be put right. I could help you, Willie. What is needed is a brief but accurate account of his life. After all, you are his nephew, and there's money in it. He is simply the greatest showman in the world.
Soll stets die Stadt meiner Träume sein, dort wo die alten Häuser stehen, dort wo die lieblichen Mädchen gehen. Da, 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 da,
Can't believe that you're bored.
It's because you're independent. You're lucky.
Well, as yet, I don't have a responsible position, but I'm very highly thought of. I work in London in Wigmore Street, you know.
Oh, I want to go to Vienna more than anything else in the world.
Why don't you?
You don't know Uncle Alf, Willie.
But he wouldn't stop you.
I love him. It would upset him. No, thank you. I'm his special favorite, you see. Doesn't like me out of his sight. If he gets into one of his savage moods and I burst into tears, he controls himself. I'm the only one who has that effect on him.
But what would you do in Vienna?
I'd study singing.
Oh, my mother was a singer.
Do you know that with training, my voice could be good enough for an operatic career?
What's he like when he gets in a savage mood? I mean, what's he do?
Well, he storms up and down waving his arms, he smashes things, he falls to the floor, and then he starts biting the carpet.
He bites the carpet?
Yes, he bites.
Gailey. There's no hurry. Gailey will clear the table.
Yes, Mama. He's only lost his temper once with me. A boy took me home from a concert. Uncle Adolf went crazy. After that, he saw to it that I accompanied him everywhere. I only stayed in tonight because my mother insisted that I get to know my cousin from England.
Do you know that he said I had very blue eyes?
A true Aryan. Wish he'd say that about my singing teacher. He comes all the way from Vienna, and most times he's turned away at the door.
He is a Jew.
He's only half Jewish.
Mrs. Hitler, that first encounter with Hitler, was your son living in Germany then, or was he just visiting?
Hitler must have made quite an impact. After all, your son was at an impressionable age.
Oh, no, you're wrong there. Pat saw through him right away.
Really? May I quote from your journal? I asked myself over and over again what could have happened to the German people that an insignificant man like Adolf, whom I had known as an unwanted and disagreeable guest, or that I could take it as a reference to the alleged visit of Adolf Hitler to your home in 1912.
Are we back to that again? I don't know what you mean by alleged.
Naturally, Pat was greatly impressed by the fact that his uncle had reached such a high position in the world.
Well, he was. It's not every day. You're taking it out of context. Look, that first visit wasn't important, you know. It was the second visit.
So your son wasn't living in Germany in 1929?
No, the second time Pat got the shock of his life. A cable arrived from his Aunt Angela saying that Pat's father was dying and longing to see his son again. Pat took the first train, and there on the platform was Alois, hale and hearty. It was a filthy trick to get him back to Germany.
Who gave you permission to appoint yourself an authority on my affairs?
He hasn't been told. There wasn't time.
Then tell him now!
Two days ago, the New York officers of the Hearst newspapers telephoned the Brown House in Munich. They demanded to speak to your uncle. They wanted to know whether he had a nephew in London who was an authority on the Hitler family.
They put personal questions to me. To me!
It was you who told me.
Are you so stupid that you fail to understand that a man in my position cannot afford to have his name associated with bigamy? With illegitimacy? I must stand before the people without the slightest stain on my character, the slightest blemish.
But I don't understand. It was you who told me to write the article. You gave me the information.
Sit! Sit. Sit. Consider it from a personal point of view. For years you have worked hard, perhaps even suffered, to attain a certain position. You have inched your way upwards like a snail, slowly, laboriously. You are now only a step away from becoming Chancellor of Germany. And then you
nephew, moreover, who is loquacious. A nephew who clings like a parasite to the back of his house! And all at once the accumulated slime of that painful journey to the summit is scooped up and fed to the gutter press! All the filth and lies that can be found, all the miserable tittle-tattle! Get out! I left orders not to be disturbed! Out, I said! Idiots! All of you! And you! You criminal! You have smashed everything. I will kill myself! I will put a gun to my head!
Seemed a little melodramatic.
Are you telling me I made it up?
No, of course not, Mrs. Hitler. We think it's merely that it appears that it sounds a little contrived.
Maybe that's the fault of your actors. It happened, I'm telling you. I'm not the only one who wrote about it. That other man at the desk, he mentioned it in a book.
Who is he?
He used to be Hitler's lawyer. Afterwards, he became head of the general government of Poland.
What's his name?
Hans Frank.
What was the purpose of Patrick...
Will you please stop interrupting? There's worse to come.
It was particularly foolish of you to write an article called My Uncle Adolf.
Very foolish indeed.
Because I'm not his half-brother, and he isn't your uncle. I merely lived in the family as an adopted child. I'm not a Hitler at all. And so naturally, neither are you.
I know none of this is your fault. But you must help me to put things right. When you return to England, I presume the reporters will want to get in touch with you. All you have to say is that you made a mistake.
Mistake?
I know you are keen to make amends.
Yes, but it puts me in a pretty rotten jam, doesn't it?
I should consider it a great personal favor.
It was terrible, Aunt Angela. He threatened to shoot himself.
Since Gailey's death, he's been under terrible pressure.
It's all your fault. If I hadn't got that stupid telegram, I wouldn't be here and in trouble now. Gailey's death.
It was an accident. Tragic accident.
You mean suicide?
You'll help me go to Vienna. Won't you, my love?
No! I forbid it!
I'll shoot myself!
I will find a way out. I'm a little nervous. It will pass.
Fraulein Raubel?
He's locked me in.
Thank you for opening the door. Is there anything you want? Some hot milk?
I would like a matchbox. An empty one. Then you can go home.
I can give you the exact dates for that. It was the night of September 18th, 1931. She was 23 years of age.
Her murderer. I am her murderer!
The storm troops march in ever-steady tread. The comrades drill by their guns and their action. Their spirits march in step along with us. La 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 la. La
Do you think Adolf was a bit, you know, kinky about Gela?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, he was very fond of her. But I can't imagine how her mother could have allowed anything, you know.
Oh, and Gela, she was weirder than all of them. I mean, she lost a daughter in funny circumstances. Her son was shot. And yet she still went on playing housekeeper to Adolf.
I wasn't just shot, I was finished off with a pillow over my face.
Women liked Adolf, didn't they? He must have had something.
I don't know if I'm supposed to be a good guy or a baddie.
There are no good guys in this little town.
His father used to keep bees, you know.
Whose father?
Adolf's father, old man Schickelgruber. I read somewhere that his arms used to swell up when he would get stung by these bees. And every time Adolf saw them, he would throw up.
The bastard wasn't so squeamish when it come to making lampshades.
Did your son believe his father when he told him he wasn't related to Adolf Hitler?
Yes, he did. At first.
But it didn't stop him settling in Germany.
Well, no.
Despite the deception and intrigue, William Patrick stayed in Germany and in 1931 was employed by the Reich Credit Bank in Berlin.
He thought it was a chance to make a lot of money, so that he could save enough to pay for our fares to America. He didn't like living in Germany. He was paid a pittance, and the poor boy didn't know a soul.
and I go dancing. I'm off to share magazines to join the whirling streams. All work and no play makes Leo a dull boy.
I'd rather be dead than be seen with your playmates.
Well, I can't help it. I'm driven about in fast cars and wined and dined. Just happen to be the nephew of the Reichs-Chancellor.
You forget, I'm also his nephew. Unlike you, however, I'm not proud of the connection, and I consider his associates to be degenerates.
Ooh, Rome wouldn't like it if he heard you saying that.
Goering's a morphine addict. Rome is a homosexual, and Lay a chronic alcoholic.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have to mix with any of them if I had a decent wage. Do you know I've had this suit since I was 17 years old? I've asked Berlitz for an increase.
Berlitz? The director of the bank? He's merely a front. He has no power. The Nazis control the banks. If you want more money, it's Adolf you have to ask.
I did. I wrote him a letter, but he hasn't replied. Do you know, Leo? I haven't been able to send home a penny to my mother.
I suspect that Adolf disapproves of the company you keep.
Ah, well, I met Goering twice. Leo maybe 3 occasions. I've never even met Rome.
It's me he disapproves of. I've one aim, and I make no secret of it. I intend to bring Adolf before an independent court and accuse him of the murder of my sister, Gelly.
You're crazy. But everybody knows it was suicide.
Please. Please. I must go to Vienna. Please?
It's out of the question, Gilly.
If you don't let me go, I'll kill myself! If you won't let me go, what do you intend to do with me? I'm going to have a baby. You've never even met him! If you knew him, you'd realize that he's a wonderful man.
He has no money, no talent, and he isn't...
Come on.
Why else do you think they took Gelly's body over the border into Austria? And if it was suicide, why did they bury her with full Catholic rites?
Well, my one concern must be for my mother. I sympathize, but I can't allow myself to get mixed up in political matters.
Und wenn die jüdischen Zeitungen heute glauben, auf versteckte Drohungen die nationalsozialistische Bewegung einschüchtern zu können, wenn sie heute glauben, unsere Notverordnungen umgehen zu dürfen, sie sollen sich hüten. Einmal wird unsere Geduld zu Ende sein und dann wird den Juden das freche Lügenmaul gestopft werden.
Is this the summer of 1934?
Pat said that Goebbels made a speech first. A sort of warning to all those who didn't recognize Hitler as the boss. He said the Fuhrer was determined to burn out the poisonous ulcers that were destroying the state. It was a reference to Hitler's mother dying of cancer.
What? It was what?
Well, that's what somebody told Pat. It seems that Hitler's mother had a Jewish doctor. He treated her with something that was supposed to burn out the cancer. It didn't work.
I don't understand the significance of the one-armed man. Was he Jewish?
No. He was just some little petty party official who'd offended someone. He was nobody.
Thank you.
Was Hitler really a vegetarian, Mrs. Hitler?
Oh, not especially, but his sister, Angela, told me he always had a thing about his stomach. You see, his mother died when he was 16. A difficult age at the best of times. And he was a mother's boy. Angela said he nursed her to the very end. And ever afterwards, the slightest twinge, even in his big toe, and he thought he had the cancer himself. Oh, wait now, go easy on those lines. I never looked my age. That was the first thing Hitler said to me when we met again in Burgess Garden. Oh, God knows I was worried enough at the time.
Sit down, Mother, sit down.
I've been out of my mind with worry, Pat.
Yes, well, if you hadn't come here, Mother, we wouldn't be in this danger now. Make some tea.
What are you doing? Sure, it's broad daylight.
If we could just get in touch with Aunt Paula. If we could get across the border into Austria, then we'd be safe.
What's the matter?
I don't understand what's going on, Mother. It's not safe here. They've taken away my passport.
What? I'm going to get in touch with your father. He got you here, and by God, he can get you out again.
Shut up, Mother.
Listen, I'm sorry. But you don't understand what it's like. I mean, Alois has no influence whatsoever. I mean, all he does is drink up in his restaurant all day.
Will you stand up straight, Pat? I can't bear to see you like this.
Who else knows you're here?
Alois. He arranged my ticket.
It's all a bit cloak and dagger, isn't it?
I thought you'd be better informed. Life was a bit cloak and dagger, as you call it, for thousands of people in Germany at that time.
But your son was related to Hitler.
What's that supposed to mean? I don't think you realize. Pat had been arrested once already. He was taken to Lichterfeld concentration camp. He was only released because somebody got word through to the British Embassy.
Who got word through?
I can't remember his name now, sure, it's more than 40 years ago.
No matter who it is, no matter what they ask you, don't say you're on a visit, all right? Say you're thinking of staying in Germany for good. Now, you understand?
Yes.
Really?
Aunt Angela, I don't believe you've met my mother. Mother, this is Aunt Angela. Mother arrived this morning on the train.
Alois said you were coming, but it's dark. Oh! Well, I hope the apartment is comfortable.
Oh, it's grand, thank you. Won't you sit down?
No. I merely came to extend an invitation. My brother would like to meet you at Berchtesgaden.
It's years since I set eyes on him.
Indeed. You will come.
She'd be delighted.
Arrangements have been made for next Sunday week. Naturally, Willie, you'll come too.
Thank you, Aunt.
Oh, here. There. And look. It's just a small gift of welcome. There.
Well, it's splendid.
I must tell you, Frau Hitler, Willie looks exactly like Adolf at the same age. He resembles Adolf much more than Alois.
Well, now, I must say, it's not the way I remember it.
Now, shh.
To the good life, here's to the high life. 3 loud cheers. Prost! 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 To your good health, Frau Hitler.
Yes,
Do you remember? You remember the time I took you to Monte Carlo? Before Willie was born?
No. But I remember another time when we were both in Monte Carlo. You made a run for it.
Bridget, darling,
Well,
you know very well that you were and you are the one great love of my life. If fate hadn't played such a cruel trick on me, we'd still be living happily together.
If you call this a cruel trick, Eloise, I wouldn't mind one myself. You've done well.
You're a hard woman, Bridget.
Alois.
Angela.
Try not to drink too much.
Do you still keep a photograph of me?
Indeed I don't. I burnt the lot, including the one of your famous brother. You remember the day we went to Birkenhead on the ferry boat? There was a man taking snapshots at the landing stage.
I was holding Willie.
That's right. And Adolf had to stand between us because his jacket was worn through at the elbows.
Nothing?
Excuse me.
Willie, have you heard from Paula recently?
Yes, indeed, I have.
She's well, is she?
Yes, she's very well.
Oh, well, you see, that is what I told you. You know, my sister...
It would be better if you didn't talk about the old days, Bridget. I mean, not in connection with Adolf. It's not good to dwell in the past. Hmm? Don't even hint that he stayed in our house in Liverpool. Oh, I have heard a rumor. I have heard that Rudolf Hess wants to see you in the Chancery. There's talk that he's going to suggest that you apply for German citizenship.
Over my dead body.
My dead
Weißes Haus am großen blauen Meer, das war mein Kindertraum, das ist so lang schon her. Ich wollte in die weite Welt hinaus, doch wenn es Abend wird, dann sehn ich mich.
You want to think it over, Bridget? After all, you'd be doing Adolf a favor. From where he stands, it's a little embarrassing to have English relatives.
Be careful, Mother.
I hope you are enjoying your visit.
There's a curious discrepancy between the danger you allege you were in and your visit to Berlin.
I beg your pardon.
Well, far from being in a dangerous situation, you seem to have been treated as an honored guest. Nor do I see what there was to gain by persuading you to accept German citizenship.
We were a threat.
To what and to whom? With all due respect, Mrs. Hitler, a middle-aged Irish woman and a penniless bank clerk were hardly likely to topple the Third Reich. It would have been simpler to ignore your existence.
From where I was standing, middle-aged or not, I was in a dangerous position. I had to ask permission to go and see Paula in Vienna and try and persuade them in some way to let Pat come with me. Once over the frontier, we'd be free. Don't imagine I don't see what you're getting at. I didn't enjoy Berchtesgaden.
I understand you wish permission to meet my sister Paula. I will see if it can be arranged. Sit. Years have passed over your head without touching you, Bridget.
Tell me, why have you never married? Oh.
Do not be embarrassed, Bridget. You are not the first person to ask me that question. No woman in Germany must ever be entitled to exclusive possession of me. Except for Blondie here. She's my best girl. I must always be on my guard. Wherever I appear, young girls throw themselves at my feet. They lick my boots. The foreign press hint that I am a pervert of some sort. But if I move my foot too quickly and kick out their teeth, they would then label me a sadistic brute. Would you believe, Bridget, there are women in Germany who do not wash their hands for a whole week after shaking hands with me? Goring tells me that when they do eventually wash, they put the water in a bottle and keep it to show their friends. Some even sell it.
Oh, now, is that so?
If this is a further illustration of your dangerous position, as you call it...
It's easy for you to talk. Today, years and years later, about what the situation was like for me and Pat.
The situation for you and Pat? Have you the slightest idea what you're saying? You show us a few nostalgic pictures of a picnic on the grass, accompanied by a wind-up gramophone, and you seriously suggest... Have you any idea of the situation millions found themselves in? Shot, starved, gassed, as a direct result of that megalomaniac, that obscenity, whom you recall talking to you about his difficulties with women and his maudlin affection for a wretched Alsatian.
When I was writing my journal, I didn't know about all that, did I? It was only at the end of my journal
that Your journal ends so abruptly, Mrs. Hitler. I'm curious to know why. It finishes on a comma in the middle of a sentence.
That is so.
Were the other pages lost?
There weren't any other pages.
Why not?
Because that's all I wanted to remember.
Of course, Patrick didn't go with you to Vienna, did he, when you were told that you could visit Paula?
I've told you he wasn't allowed. The excuse was that it would be showing favoritism to give him more time off work. Pat didn't escape until 1939.
Yes, I'm coming to that. In your journal, you write that Patrick came back to England in 1937.
For a brief visit, yes.
I don't quite understand. You mean he just got onto a train and came home?
No, I do not mean that. I've told you he was not allowed any freedom of movement. What happened was, later he went on a boat trip to Norway. Something to do with his work. Everybody went ashore to take photographs. That's how Pat escaped. He just slipped away.
And having just slipped away, he then slipped back to spend a further 2 years in Germany.
Well, there was a young lady, I believe.
A young lady?
Well, it must have been something like that, mustn't it? Pat said he had to... Pat said...
According to you, William Patrick Hitler had spent years trying to leave Germany. He knew his cousin Leo had been shot, his cousin Gailey possibly murdered. He'd seen the Night of the Long Knives, the butchery in the street. And yet you say he went back because of some girl who hasn't been mentioned until this moment?
I'm not too clear about that.
Nor are we. Well, perhaps he was enjoying the life he was living, his connections in high places.
It's not true.
What is true? What was the real reason for his return?
I can't tell you. I'm not allowed to tell you. There's more to it. Nobody must know. I'm not at liberty to say a word, not a word.
We're going on with this.
Stand all right then. It's not myself I'm thinking of. Pat is an American citizen. He's married. I've got grandchildren to consider. Think of yourself in my position.
Yes, I understand. Mrs. Hitler, do you feel able to continue?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose I ought to. All right. So long as he doesn't put his oar in.
Mrs. Hitler, how did Patrick escape from Germany the second time?
First hint I got was a cable from Amsterdam. The following morning, Pat arrived in London. He had had a terrible time. I wrote it all in my journal. Everything that Pat told me.
Really, I didn't know what to do. The only man who might be able to help me was my father. But would he? I wasn't on good terms with him, so there was a little chancy looking for help in that quarter. Nevertheless, I decided to try him.
The journal finishes at this point on a comma.
In all, William Patrick Hitler stayed in Germany for 10 years. 10 years. Unwillingly, of course. One could draw the conclusion that your son was an admirer of Nazi Germany.
We were allowed into the U.S., weren't we? I worked for the Red Cross in Washington. Pat became a member of the U.S. Naval Intelligence. He was an American citizen.
Mrs. Hitler, I apologize if we seem to be continually querying your account, but we are here to discuss the claims which
He's not querying. He's calling me a downright liar.
The claim, amongst others, that Hitler visited your home in Liverpool in 1912.
When I wrote my journal, I didn't know you'd all be so obsessed about Hitler
You
coming
have
to
not
Liverpool.
given us sufficient evidence to substantiate such a preposterous statement.
I didn't know it was so important. You'd have done well in the SS yourself, young man. All right. There was more to that afternoon in Berchtesgaden. And I don't care if you believe it or not. Hitler was sitting up, and I was plucking at the grass.
I hear you are thinking of settling in Germany. I am delighted.
It's not that I don't love England.
I too admire England. What I am today, and what I hope to become, I owe entirely to two great Englishmen. Carlyle, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, and Oliver Cromwell. They placed England 200 years ahead of any other European power. My whole life is an exact parallel of Oliver Cromwell's. Yes. Unfortunately, England is being poisoned from within and above by the socialists. A socialist England would prove a permanent danger in Europe, for she would founder in such poverty that the British Isles would prove too small to support its inhabitants.
Yes, of course, you're right. I'd like to stay here, because I want to be near Pat. I mean, Willie. I feel he needs me. Alois isn't much of a father, you know.
He was never much of a father.
There's all that drinking.
He was always selfish by nature.
Do you remember the time when Willie was only a baby? Alois was bellowing at you to get a job. You told him to keep quiet, that he'd wake the child.
I was never in Liverpool.
He sneered at your clothes.
Will you be so kind as to wind up the gramophone, please?
So kühl wie dein Mund, brennen vor Sehnsucht das Herz mir so wund. Sieh ich sie glühen, so träum ich von dir, doch du bist ferne, so ferne von mir. Komödie spielt, zeigt der Welt nicht dein Herz, was versteht sie von deinem Schmerz? Wenn dir auch zum Weinen ist, gib smiling, my dear, gib smiling. Die brennende Sehnsucht immer schweigen, zeigt der Welt nicht dein Herz, was versteht sie von deinem Schmerz? Wenn dir auch zum Weinen ist, keep smiling, my dear, keep smiling.